All right, gang, I am super excited about this project. I'm loving this radio. I'm not being sponsored by them, but I just love this radio. I'm really excited about it. And we're going to go through this. Don't let all this mishigosh scare you. We're going to go through it one by one and once and for all figure out who's on first. And if you're worried about breaking something, you break something, remember, it will grow back. Or wait, no, it won't, but you can buy a new one. But we're going to go through this and get this going. Also, here's a tip from your old pal 3AM. Don't forget to disconnect your battery before you do any electric work. What living thing has more lives than a cat? What living thing has more lives than a cat? A frog that croaks every day. Greetings. So in this video, it's mostly going to be focused on wiring this new radio that I bought. And if you're curious about this radio, I did an unboxing if you go to my channel, a couple of videos before this, I did an unboxing where I talked about this radio. Let me just recap real quick. It was $255, and I'll show you, it came from classiccarstereos.com. I'm not being promoted by them. But the reason why I chose this one is because it fits perfectly in the original bezel. And let me show you, there's a little bit of a gag out there. I almost bought a radio that said, oh, it fits your car. Technically, that's true, but you have to cut on the bezel, and it comes with another thing of plastic. So let me show you a few things about that, and we're going to get into the wiring. I'm going to show how it mounts. The dash is out of my car, so this should make it easier on me and to show. Okay, so here's the box that it came in. Okay, there's some things about it. You can pause the video and look at those. And I want to show you about the bezel. Hang on. Okay, so notice the shape of this. Let me get the other bezel. Hang on a minute. Don't want to drop something. I got my workbench. Okay, so here's the bezel with the gauge cluster. And if you can see, this radio fits right in here, just like this. And what you do is, okay, see that? See how everything's like that? And then you bring this nut and this washer up to hold this plastic top. However, there is something that I'm going to show that you need to be careful of. And that is, this still weighs 5 pounds. So you don't want to just clamp it on your bezel nice and taut, because you hit a few railroad tracks, blah, 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 and it breaks. So there's a bracket in here. But let me show you the old bezel. My daughter originally bought this car off of somebody and sat for a long time. She and I worked on it about 6 or 8 years, I think, and then I bought it off her when she moved out of state. But this is, somebody put a custom stereo in and cut the original bezel, so I had to buy a new one. The wiring in the Corvette is a mess. While the dash is out, this is the perfect time to straighten it out. The custom radio that's in there never worked. I think at best it just beeped at you from time to time. The wiring in my car is a mess. There's wires twisted together. There's wires spliced. This is no good. We'll get into all that. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the wiring, and this is pretty much labeled, but I'm going to label in my car what's what, label what this is. This is supposed to fit right in to my car, but my car no longer has this plug. It's a freaking mess, and that's what I'm going to do, is go through it while the dash is out, and I'm just going to record it. Maybe it'll help somebody else. Great if it does. So one thing that's commonly done with this bracket is you just bolt it to the back of the radio, and you might have to get creative and bend it or whatever and mount it to something, some frame on your car or something, just to stop. See how that's going to bounce, and you just got it sandwiched in that plastic bezel. if you don't give it a little more support, it could break your bezel. I've seen other Corvettes where that's happened, and it always starts with somebody putting in a custom radio and not really finishing what they're doing there the right way. So I'm trying not to make this a long video, and I'm sorry, I don't want to ramble, but there's a lot of stuff to go through. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to show you in the end how I mount it, and I'll show some basics about how this stereo works if you're interested in it. Check out my unboxing video where I give a link and all that. Okay, gang, so I've been at this for about an hour and a half, just trying to straighten out and just label what's what. Some of this extra wiring in here, if you're curious to know what it is, you can watch my dash removal video. I've got wipers, windshield wiper. This is your headlight switch. This is your two vacuum hoses. Your release button for the knob. Go back and watch that video and you'll see that. This was beep beep. That's an inside joke if you've seen my video. I had some fun with that. All right, so we're talking at the front left speaker. The white is positive and the white with the black stripe is negative. So there's my positive and negative. So like I said, this is a hack job. So I'm temporarily keeping this attached so that these wires were spliced together pretty bad. All right, so let's look at the other side speaker. Okay, so the front right speaker, which is here, I'll just take it out. I left this attached to it because, let's see, so we're talking front right. The gray is positive. The gray with the black stripe should be negative, and so that's why I've kept those attached. So I'm just going to hang those back up right there. Okay, so I'm just starting with what I know and working out from there. So let's move on. Okay, so the rear speakers is this. What do we got here? Left rear speaker. Okay, so the green is positive and the green with the black stripe is negative. So there's no way for me to know which is which without this, and I just knocked over one of my lights. And so the right rear speaker, let's see, we've got the purple is positive, purple with black stripe is negative. So I'm keeping these attached because otherwise there's not a way for me to know, but I'm going to, right now I'm just trying to figure out what's what. Okay, and then the red over here is I've got it as the ignition switch, accessory power, so I've got that labeled. Black is ground, and it's ground because I see it in there going to the ground. Okay, so that's easy enough. Okay, and the yellow is for the battery, but it's been spliced together a couple different times using different colored wiring. So it took me a while to trace this one back and find it. But the last little bit they did make yellow like they were supposed to, whoever did this together. And there's still one I'm missing. This is where it's a little hectic because there's supposed to be a blue antenna, auto antenna, and I can't find it. However, there is a gray one down here, but I don't have much room to work with. And then I found some conflicting information after some research, and somebody else had a diagram, but they marked out blue and wrote gray. So I'm thinking, okay, so maybe there's something to it. I don't know. So this is, this, by the way, is for the gauge cluster. Okay, so that has nothing to do with the radio. Don't let that confuse you. So I've got everything found except for one. And I think I might have found it, but I don't know that for sure. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some connectors. I'm going to redo this and make this down to just one wire, not 3 wires spliced together, and so on. same thing with this stuff. Like see, this just came out. I'm not gonna use this. I'll be snipping the wire back to here, but I'll be clearly marking what's what. But I think what I'm going to do is just use some connectors and just put them on there one at a time. And right now the battery's disconnected, so I'm going to connect up what I know. And the radio does have a fuse on it, thankfully. So I don't know, I might be putting that fuse to the test. I don't know. But once I secure, I can't just blindly hook up the battery. You know, I can't just leave this stuff. I'm going to secure it so that there's nothing touching anything. So that's going to take me a while to like tape this up here so nothing happens. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. You don't have to watch me do it. All I'm doing is securing some of this. Like this right here, this needs to be secure somewhere because it's going to have juice to it once I hook up the battery, and I don't recommend doing that. So let me also tell you this as a disclaimer. This video is not a how-to. This is me doing the project to the best of my ability. And if you don't feel comfortable, I recommend you consult with a professional. This is just me doing it, and people can watch this video, and this is me doing my project. I am not suggesting this is a how-to. This is just me doing it. So at this point, I'm going to go back to the radio, put some individual connectors, clean up some of this garbage, and connect it, and just start with what I know. And I want to see if I can find that remote antenna and not blow any fuses. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to go through this. Okay, so I decided to bring my radio back into the table and just kind of go through. I have a hodgepodge of different connections. I have the solder ones too that have solder built in them. I'm not going to be permanently soldering something together that I don't know until it's been tested, so I'm going to set those off to the side. Eventually I'll buy a male and female in that work together for this. But until then, like I said, my goal is just figuring out what's what, making sure the radio works inside the car. Okay, I don't want to put all the dash together and then go, oh my gosh, I got some things messed up, and then I have to take things apart again. So we'll just go through stuff. You know, we've got the iPod, the USB, the antenna over here. And I'll just show this diagram that comes with this radio, just so you can see it, and you can pause at any time and see this. So, okay, this is just the wire diagram, that came with this, and just trying to share knowledge, hopefully make this easier for other people and see the struggles that I had. Okay, so I got out some of my hobby tools that I normally don't use for my car, my magnifying glass, all this. Basically what I did, these were already connected with these bullet splices. Some of them on this end are male, some are female, probably something to do with, positive and negative. They probably went one way with one and one with the other. So here, connected to the radio, I've got this coming out with these bullet splices. Again, some are male, some are female, whatever. So this package here, I've got a couple packages, and like I said, I've got some other miscellaneous things. Here's the solder ones if you're curious. These work phenomenal, by the way. Hit them with a heat gun, this center solders, and then they latch onto the wire, making it water taut. So good for under the hood stuff. So basically what I'm going to do is, and I left my camera stand outside, hang on. Okay, so just real quick, here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm doing this looking through my camera. This is just a little snippet of wire just to show the audience, because it would be, pretty asinine to make a video where I sit there and do this for every wire, and nobody wants to see that. It's hard for me because I got such a small piece there. Okay, so I should have used a larger piece of wire, sorry, but it would actually look like this. Okay, I'm putting this, just making sure that's together. Okay, and so let me pick one here. Hang on. Okay, so again, pretend this is the wire coming out of my car. I'm just explaining what I'm going to do. You do it however you see fit. This is the female end, and I'm just crimping it on there. And I might even come back and use a pair of pliers. I'm going to test this. Actually, I think that's got it pretty good. The wire's in there. So this is the female end. So pretend this is attached to my car, and this is the correct wire that goes with it. I've got everything labeled, and this bullet connection, so you can see down there. Let me zoom in. Hang on. Okay, so this is going to fit in there like that, just like that. Okay, and so now this wires is going to be connected, and I just want to make sure I get everything working like it's supposed to, and then I'll probably come back and take these out. So like I said, mine's a mess. Hopefully you don't have to do all this with your car. Mine was just an absolute mess. So once I get everything figured out, I will come back and undo all the bullet connections, put this back on, and then I will buy the male version of this to fit it in here, okay? And that'll work. I'll take all those wires and put them in here. You're not going to see that in this video, okay? Like I said, this is not a how-to. This is just me doing it. And if your radio wiring is a mess like mine, like a lot of these older cars are, where somebody tries to put a custom stereo in, and maybe they're successful. Okay, great, but things are just a cluster. So this is the Squealio Dealio. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, gang, so I had to pause my project. Oh, there's a blue jay mad at me. Had to pause my project, cook a little lunch for the wife and I, and then I will get back to it and do it to it, as some people say. It's a beautiful day out. It's a little chilly, not too bad. I'm looking for that blue jay. He was just right there yelling at me because I got some peanuts for him, and I've disrupted his lunch while I try to make mine. Okay, so I'm getting ready to hook up the battery, and I do not recommend doing this. This is just a thing that I'm doing. I've got all these other electrical connections taped up to where they're not touching anything, okay? And then I've got the radio hooked up, okay? I know it looks like a mess, but you gotta follow the wires. And I haven't rewired. This is still spliced together. I'm gonna make this one solid wire, okay? That's just my unique situation. You don't need to spend 20 minutes watching me do that. You get the idea. So I've labeled these, yeah, that, and then I've joined them together with those bullet connectors, and male and female, blah, 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 just like you saw. So that's just put together, and I'm going to hook the battery back up, which makes me a little nervous, but I've triple checked everything, and I do not recommend doing this. This is just me doing this on my own. Okay, so I'm trying to do this with my camera stand. I've already knocked it over a couple times, but like I said, I can't emphasize this enough. I do not like hooking up the battery with so much electric exposed. But so I've got the battery wire to it, which is going to give it enough juice to keep its presets and its time and all that. And then this here, this red wire is the ignition. So when the ignition, and then it has full power. So I'm going to turn the key on. Okay, and then now I'm going to turn the radio on, and sure enough, it does come
Here
on.
with Father Mike Schmitz, and now we'd like to share audio from a video called "Turn Off the Internet, God Wants to Talk to You," with Father Mark Mary from the Ascension Presents YouTube
Okay,
channel.
that's interesting. That came on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, a little churching will do y'all some good. So there's the search. Okay. Little speakers down there.
Keep these flowing.
Okay, so just a couple things real quick. Earlier I had mentioned that I hadn't found the wire for the auto antenna, and I haven't yet. There was a gray one down there that I mentioned. It was hard to get to. That was not it. So, not sure what the gray one is, but it's definitely not that. So I will search for that and see if I can get it going. If not, then I guess I just won't. But I'll see what I can come up with on that. But and then also, so this is what came with the radio. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take away, now that I know everything works, blah, 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 I'm going to disconnect all these that I just put together and connect it back to this like it was supposed to be. And then I think there was a battery one as well. I can't remember if the battery was part of this or not, but I'll have to look at my records. But so I'm going to buy a male end to this to fit into here, that I will, all these wires that are coming from my car, I will plug into the male end of that. So I have no intention of just stuffing all this back in there. So I'm going to do it with this connection. Okay, just FYI. And one more thing I almost forgot. If your dash isn't out like mine and you need to reach stuff, a good way is to take off the center console panel. And there's 3 screws holding it on. There's one screw there. There's one screw down there. And there's one screw right down there. And they're buried in the carpet. If you feel around in the carpet, you'll feel a screw head. Then this can come off and maybe give you the access that you need. Okay, I hope that helps. Cheers. Okay, so just a few basic things about this radio. On the side is a USA or a European. I've got it set to USA. And I just wanted to show this a little more closely. I know I showed this. Let me zoom in real quick while we were out there. But here is what, so I would take this nut all the way off and this small washer, see that small washer there? So this part, this nut and this washer sits behind the plastic bezel, and then this nut and this washer smashes it in from the front side. Okay, so your bezel is going to sit in there just like that, where my fingernail is. That's where the plastic bezel. So this will be on the back side of the bezel, the bigger washer. And that's going to hold it in place. Like I said, however, that it's a pretty light radio, but it might not be enough support. Okay, so to give it a little extra support so it doesn't just bounce and crack the plastic bezel, I'm going to take this and bolt it to the back of my radio is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put a bend in it and mount that to the floorboard just to stop this radio from bouncing and cracking that bezel. Okay. And I'm quickly going to go through some of the basics. So we got our double stack knobs here. This will be on the front side of your plastic bezel. Okay, obviously. So to turn this on, you're going to push this in, and then that's your volume. Okay, so there's that. And then some of this, I can't remember what I said. Of course, I got to get my magnifying glass to read some of this because I'm an old guy. Okay. So this is for your tuning over here. And let's see here. Your, this is, okay. So this band is between your AM, your FM1, FM2, FM3, band select, and then your mode button here is for CD, auxiliary in, USB, iPod, radio select. Press and hold the mode button for 2 seconds to turn TA off or on. Okay. Okay, and so this here is for your ID3, your time, your frequency recall button. The next one is for CD disc up. If you this doesn't have, you can hook up a CD changer to this, but this itself is not a CD player. Or USB radio presets. This next one right here. Let's see, it does disc up and down, USB folder down, radio preset 2, and the next one is CD track up, which so we were talking about. Okay, and so this guy here, let's see, that is CD track up, USB track up, radio preset 3, and the next one right here is CD track down, USB track down, radio set preset 4, and 10, which is this. Or no, I'm sorry. 10 is the display. Okay. So this is just going to show your frequency, your clock, and your ID3. And that's basically it. I'll show a quick overview so that you can pause the video if you have this, and if you're curious about it, I'll show you where it shows everything. Hang on. Okay, so you can just pause this at any time. If you're curious about this radio, hope I'm not moving too fast to make people seasick, but you can see there's a lot more to it. I just wanted to do the basics, and like I said, you can pause any of this and see more about it. And there's for the iPod. So it does a lot. I'm very happy with it. Here's for the CD if you hook up a CD changer to it. This gives a little bit more details. Okay. Just FYI, I got my little helpers with me today. This is one of them. I got 3 helpers. This one here is involved with a lot of my projects and helping, so we appreciate Chip's help and everybody else. Oh, there goes the other one. All right. This is another one of my helpers. You've helped me for a long time with a lot of my projects, haven't you, guys? All right. So this is a total random bonus. If you're in a bad mood, this might cheer you up just for fun. It's when I did a reading of 8 o'clock in the morning by Ray Nelson from 1963. Enjoy. Hello, Robinson, he asked. Speaking. This is George Nada. I've figured out how to wake up the people. What? George, hang on. Where are you? Robinson sounded almost hysterical. George hung up. Paid the excessive barb tab. Hello, Robinson, he asked. Speaking. This is George Nada, and I've figured out a way to wake up the people. What? George, hang on, where are you? Robinson sounded almost hysterical. He hung up and paid his excessive bar tab. They would probably trace his call. He caught another subway and went downtown. It was dawn when he entered the building. Hello, Robinson, he asked. Speaking. This is George Nada, and I've figured out how to wake up the people. What? George, hang on, where are you? Robinson sounded almost hysterical. He hung up and paid his excessive bar tab. They would probably trace his call. He caught another subway and went downtown. Why does it have to be excessive?